Hello, everybody. We're gonna talk about something else today. This is another day, another me. I'm back, in a way, I guess. It's more special today. Well, would I call it special than to just share news here? Something that goes into a lot of things happening on social media. And one of the news is that Brett Cooper from Daily Wire quit. And I think I learned that last week. Was it last week that it happened and it was official? Yes. And was I shocked? I wouldn't say so. Was I a bit disappointed? Yes, not for Brett Cooper. I think for Daily Wire because when I started being more open to me being traditional, that's how I used to call it, and more conservative in a way, Daily Wire was one of the few platforms, I would say, into the social media space that were able to bring that conservative voice that a lot of us were craving to hear and see and watch because a lot of content was obviously geared towards just being more liberal, right? And when you find yourself through all of those questions and really not being in agreement with a lot of things with liberal speaking, I would say, when you find something, a platform like Daily Wire, it's one of the few things that you can hope to see more into the social media space. And that's something that was very helpful first. And when I discovered Candace Owens years ago through the BLM situation with George Floyd and all those stuff, it was all of those first couple of voices that I saw out there, and I was finally hopeful to see more of those voices out there. And like I said, it was not easy. So now with Cooper leaving, quitting Daily Wire, there's that sense of just being more disappointed because we hear a lot about the left side, and when it gets to the right and to conservatism in general, I guess for me it was more into thinking that things would get better. And with all of the mess at the beginning of the year with Candace Owens quitting Daily Wire, there's a lot of things that we couldn't see and that a lot of things that we were able to see through that. Just to say that at the end of the day, whatever side you're gonna be on, nobody is gonna be perfect, right? There's always gonna be the mess on either side. And it's really up to you to see beyond parties, beyond, let's say, different voices, and whoever is gonna be on the left and whoever is gonna be on the right. And Britt Cooper brought that freshness into the voices that we saw out there because she is a lot younger and she's conservative, something that is very rare nowadays. And I honestly, personally don't believe her into quitting on her own. There's a lot of things that I could see just through the whole mess and situation with Candice Owens. Now, what it means for us, for any one of us being conservative, right, is to honestly understand that at the end of the day, your voice is gonna be the one that's gonna matter the most, right? Any platform you're gonna be on, it's your brand, it's your identity that you're gonna be building on, that's gonna bring the trust. Because for me, the way that I see Daily Wire now, it's definitely not the same way I used to see them before, let's say even 2 years ago. And when you see people like Candace Owens, like Brett Cooper, you started trusting more voices than the platforms. And that's how you start to see the decline into the classical, I would say, content and classical journalism, right? Because people now are craving for more of people, authenticity, really going back to trusting the individuals more than the platforms. And we see that with Daily Wire. We see a lot of disappointments, like I said, at the beginning of the year. And that we're going to keep seeing with Brad Cooper quitting. Now, what does that mean for any classical, conservative, and classical voice speaking out there? I think it becomes a point where you have to start building your own brand, your own identity, and really starting to discover your own voice. Because with Brett Cooper, a lot of people literally were saying that they would quit watching Daily Wire because Brett Cooper was leaving. Same happened with Candace Owens. A lot of people, just like me too, starting to really going through whatever the individuals were doing. And that's how you saw all the success with the Candace Owens podcast, her channel blew up this year. Like in a literally couple of months, she was able to bring back almost her whole audience that she was able to build on Daily Wire. And through that, you understand real quick that it's not about the platform you're gonna be in. It's not about YouTube. It's not about TikTok. It's not about Instagram. It's really much more and must about you building a voice out there. And when you start getting to know yourself the most, that's how people start trusting you even more. And Brett Cooper, definitely Daily Wire helped a lot because nobody knew Brett Cooper at the beginning. And because she was on Daily Wire, she got to be known a lot more. She got to be more popular. But then after that, it was more her voice, her way of sharing the news, right? She built a formula, something that is very simple and something where you see clearly the side she was on and the personality shining through it. So it was not about somebody sharing the news, it was Brad Cooper sharing the news her own way. Now, what does that mean for all of us? If you're conservative, you definitely have a way to share your own uniqueness through whatever you're gonna be sharing here, because we don't reinvent the wheel, right? We just get to see and share probably things that people were already talking about. And there's something that she shared more when she was getting into interviews and really the success of her channel and how she got to be that popular and manage to, I would say, completely break the algorithm on YouTube. And it was mostly about her watching the news ahead. Let's on Twitter, she would get on Twitter X, which is X now. She would get on Twitter, starting seeing all the news that were popping, that were being popular, and she would be able to transcribe that on her channel, on the comment section channel, and she was able to bring those news, but at the same time getting to share a lesson behind it. Any challenge, any scandal, any things happening on TikTok, happening on social media, she was able to bring those news, bring that on her channel, and being able to get out lessons out of it, right? And that was for every case and every drama that was going on social media, and that's still going on social media. And that's the key for anyone being on social media, because now it's really all about sharing the news, sharing the thoughts, sharing the opinions, but with something extra. Anything that you're gonna see here on YouTube, it's something that probably we know all about. Now it's in the way of sharing it, right? The identity that you're gonna have, you, and that's how people are gonna be drawn to you. And it's the same thing, I would say, like sharing our faith, right? Knowing Jesus, loving Jesus, having a relationship with Jesus. Anybody can build that relationship with Jesus. Now it's gonna be up to you and how you're gonna share it here, right? That's gonna make the difference. Whatever you're gonna say through that, I would say, lens, people are gonna be drawn to you, especially to you, because you're being you, not because you're just sharing a news, not because you're relying on to copying, pasting whatever people are doing out there, because this is how people see how unauthentic you're gonna be. And her replacement, Brett Cooper, which is her producer, literally they copied pasted everything that Brett Cooper was doing to bring it back to her producer doing the same thing. And you can see the comments, you can see the feedback. People are not happy, they feel betrayed. And normally so, because podcasts are becoming the content where it's so much more personalized, it's so much more tailored to your personality, your character, your brand, I would say. This is how we're starting building brands nowadays. And Candace Owens shared a bit about it into Brad Cooper quitting, and she was saying that when it comes to podcasts nowadays, it's a lot more personable. But that's a big thing for all of us out there. If you want to bring something out there, it's really up to you to build a brand and knowing who you are. What is your voice like? What do you know from you that you can share out there? And it doesn't have to be extra complicated. Like I said, especially for us, if you're Christians, if you are building everything based on your own faith and your relationship with Jesus, it's really up to know that your purpose is gonna be aligned with whatever the Lord wants from you. And when you see a personality like Brad Cooper, it was something so fresh, so simple, but at the same time so charming, right? And that was so traditional without having to say Jesus, Jesus all the time. She had that charming side. And the same thing goes with my mentor again here, me getting to my confirmation soon. It was the thing that he was telling me about me discovering my mission and my purpose and everything that I want to be doing here online, especially. It was not about forcing people to come to you, but drawing people to you. And that's a really subtle shift where you understand that the same way Jesus invites people in, the same way you inviting people in, because it's really Jesus through you, right? You becoming that instrument. You are that instrument, like I was sharing more in my yesterday video. So the solution here is to understand where you are, who you are, and what is your mission, but always related to the Lord and your faith and how you can help people out there. And the key on social media is really to get to that authenticity of just sharing things, but with that attitude and that character that only you have, that uniqueness that only you have. And in the case of Brad Cooper quitting, we see that because a lot of people start to have less trust into Daily Wire, and people that used to kind of like Daily Wire because they were the first few of those that were more conservative, we started distrusting that because they are becoming like any other platform out there, right? Where we see something that is not authentic anymore. And we're seeing the individuals being part of Daily Wire, being the people that we can trust, but not necessarily the platform. The same way that I could trust, let's say, Jordan Peterson, who is for me somebody that is just outside of the whole dynamic of Daily Wire, to the point that I forget all the time that it's actually with Daily Wire as well. And my boyfriend was kind of sharing that yesterday because we were talking about the whole thing about Brad Cooper leaving, is that Jordan Peterson is one of those people that is like Wolverine into the X-Men team. Wolverine was part of the X-Men team, but at the same time, he was a bit outside because he was doing everything on his own because he was more onto the solitary and not necessarily being able to rely on the team all the time. So he was a bit the outsider in a way, but still part of the team. It's the same way with Jordan Peterson. And Brad Cooper was becoming that, I would say, conservative voice, but so popular, especially with for the younger generation, that the news and whatever happened definitely is still gonna be a bad point for Daily Wire, aka for any platform out there that is not necessarily being the most authentic ever, right? And that's why we started trusting more people. And that's a really great news for all of us. If you want to be out there, your work is not necessarily to have the most advanced gear and having the latest camera, even though I'm a geek, so I love cameras, I love anything technical about it. But the most essential part is going to be you knowing you and how you can really translating it to your channel, your brand, and anything you're doing out there. And so that's actually simple, but it's not necessarily easy because you have to kind of do the work of knowing yourself and discovering that voice out there. And that's why the person that I am, I love going back to that, who you are, what are you doing, and how you can be able to translate that through social media and YouTube, any other type of social media platform out there. So authenticity is the key, is the main part, and always remember that. And that's a bit my thoughts into the big news that was so big that it went literally internationally speaking. I I was not necessarily shocked. I was surprised but not shocked. Sorry. Like I said, just because of the Candace Owens scandal and mess at the beginning of the year. So, well, I definitely am not worried about Brett Cooper's success afterwards, because she will be. Like I said, it's her personality that really gets people to be drawn to her more than, I would say, Daily Wire, right? And at some point, you keep watching her videos because it's her, not necessarily because she's a part of Daily Wire. So now it's all about knowing whatever Daily Wire they're gonna do. But I think they're just gonna go with the strategy of doing the having a clone of Brett Cooper into the person of her producer now, replacing her onto the comment section channel. And we'll see whatever is gonna be. This is 2025. A lot of things are gonna change, but I'm not necessarily worried for her, Brett Cooper, but definitely I can feel that it's not necessarily something that was easy to do. Whatever happened, it was not easy on her part for sure to part ways like that. But we'll see whatever the future is gonna be. But I'm not too worried. It's just listen to learn for anybody out there wanting to build a brand and play more into that authenticity more than any platform and any thing, social media content platform they will be using to get to that point. So that was my thoughts for today. I hope you liked it. For sure, I'm gonna see you for my next video. Obviously, most likely, hopefully, it's gonna be tomorrow. We'll see about that. But if you have any thoughts, any comment, anything that you want to share, definitely get down below. Again, here I'm super grateful for people making it to the point of being part of this channel, this small tiny channel, and keep subscribing. So whatever you like here, I hope you're gonna keep enjoying it. And like I say all the time, keep smiling because it's free and contagious in a good way. Bye.